Press on. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing in the world is more uncommon than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent.
All right, guys, glad you could join me. Let's see what we got going on today. All right, so this is my beginnings of that oil burner I talked about. This is an antique flat top 5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton blower. Parker Hurricane Plus 5. And this thing's sweet. I'm going to do a will it run video on that. Take it all apart, clean her out like I do. And that should be a good video. And then after that, we're going to put together an oil burner of my own design. It's going to be completely unique. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen a lot of oil burners, and there's tons of videos on YouTube. There's guys like Nobot7. He's great. You got MKS Boycell from years ago. He made some oil burners that are pretty interesting. Oil Burner, he's real funny, Aussie. He does tons of different cobbled together oil burners. They're pretty interesting. And so I'm going to try my hand at making my own. It's going to be unique. I'm going to utilize a fire extinguisher. This is a carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. I've got an unlimited supply of these. I have a hookup, if you will. And so I can get as many of these as I want. So I'll have fire protection since I'm going to be working with potentially dangerous things. But if you've watched my videos in the past, you know I'm no stranger to potentially dangerous things. And then over here, the exhaust coming out, I'm actually going to utilize the exhaust of this engine and this forced air blower. And I'm going to run the exhaust. I'm going to have a tube that I weld out that comes down right here on an angle to create a spiral effect. And pointing down, I'm going to have a little platinum tray in the bottom. And that little platinum tray is going to have a platinum mesh on the top. And that's where I'm actually going to inject oil and air through a pond aerator pump. I'm going to have the injector nozzle pointing straight down at that dish as well. So I'm going to have my injector nozzle up here for my pond aeration sprayer. If you watch my past videos, I used a paint sprayer and I hooked the pond aerator pump like MKS Boycell's oil burner uses, and his is pretty powerful alone with just the pump and his siphon nozzle that he came up with. Well, I haven't built the plans that he sent me for that siphon nozzle, so I'm going to just use the paint sprayer. And what's cool about the pond pump is it's a commercial air pump and produces sufficient force to push the air and the oil if I use the needle valve to adjust the oil. And so I'll be able to inject my oil through that. And so that will spray directly down into the platinum tray. And I'm going to use that exhaust, and I have this cutoff valve. That exhaust will provide my preheating of this cylinder, because basically you got to vaporize the oil. I mean, you can ignite finely misted oil, but it's difficult. You really need a catalytic or a very hot surface to spray it onto, which that platinum dish will provide. But I'm also, this red hot cylinder, once that exhaust will heat that cylinder quite hot. And with the introduction of propane to the airstream, because I can inject propane directly into the pond aerator pump, right through the intake of that, I will be able to use propane to preheat if the exhaust isn't sufficient. So I've got a lot of options, but I have a firm design in my mind. Of course, I'll remove this end, and in the beginning, I'll just use that as my nozzle. So as it comes out, of course, I'll ignite it. Of course, there'll be some backflow of fire inside this cylinder, which will heat it red hot, just like Oil Burner. If you haven't seen Oil Burner, I've watched all his videos. I've got a clear design. If you watch his videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, enough with that. We got to get that done. Let's not talk about it. Let's just do it. I got to get to work here in about 20 minutes, not even. So I got to hustle up with this video. So let's come over here. The old sealed under pressure cannabis indica hemp. This is cannabis indica hemp. It doesn't get you high, but it has 23% CBD. I'm doing an experiment. If you haven't watched my video before, that's a sealed container. It's been going for over a week. Doing great. That's definitely growing. These are just designed to be in stasis, but they're actually growing in there. That one's getting right to the top. It's filling the container. And so is this one. It's popped open. I've been losing my air pressure overnight, but I've been filling it with air pressure every night. See, that's almost filled the container. Crazy. So plants grow under air pressure, according to this experiment. Now, I got to work on that gasket. I still haven't done that, but we'll get that finished tonight, and we'll get that perfectly sealed so it holds pressure indefinitely. Then we'll start the 3-month time lapse. I'm going to use iPhone 4 to time lapse. You can indefinitely time lapse with a plugged in iPhone 4, I found out. I've said all this in my other videos, but I like to reiterate. This is my sealed microgreen garden invention. I'm working on this prototype. Now, they haven't sprouted yet, but it's quite cold in here. Let's come over here. This is on my boat power supply battery box. Ooh, we got full charge, and because I got a battery tender on that, and 44.8 degrees. So it's quite cold in here. All right, let's move on. So when those sprout, that'll be interesting. I'm putting a zipper type top, and I'm building from 20 to 50 of these and putting them in my garden. Now let's come over to my little camera mount I've come up with for my future videos. I just cobbled this together. I have two Blade Z phones. They have two cameras, 16 megapixels. I've got 160 onboard gigabytes. I love this phone. It's the best phone I've ever had. It's got a huge screen. It's essentially a phablet 6-inch phone. I highly recommend you pick one up. I've got two, and I make all my videos with them. Maybe the quality's not as good as some guys on YouTube, but hey, that's what I got. You got to work with what you have, and that's what I do as you look around. So there's that project on hold for now. Antique Schwinn bike. I'm redoing that, coating it in copper. So we'll get to that. And we're going to copper coat that frame. It's going to be awesome when I'm done. I'm actually going to use it to ride to work like I used to do when I was a young man. And let's come over here. 3D printed stuff. This is my phone dryer that I came up with that works great. You can submerge a phone or any electronic device and have it dry in a half hour with a shop vacuum. This is a supposedly tri-blade fatal knife that I did an electric project with, and I basically put a stun gun module in that handle, put some razor blades on the top. Now I'm just going to cast it one. These go for like $1,000 on eBay, the completed knives. That's obviously not the design, but I can 3D print any design, and then I can cast with it, and that's what this is for, to run the foundry that I'm building. So I get this worked out, and you know, obviously this 5-horse engine can run all day on a tank, so it might cost me $1 to run it for 3 hours, but I get all that air that I need and should be able to garner sufficient temperatures to run my foundry, which is a giant kiln that I'm repurposing. Have that out back. There'll be later videos on that. Let's come over. So that handle goes on that paintball gun for my my paintball defense rounds that I've made, and these are all gun accessories that I've printed over time for, obviously not real guns, just for paintball guns and BB guns. If you've watched my videos, you know I play around with them a little bit. We have fun, you know, just a kid at heart. But yeah, so that's the grip I'm gonna put on, and I'm redoing this cheapo, if you haven't seen my other videos, Blade 12-gram cylinder. It's because I'm doing tests, versus tests between like the BB pistol, and I've got a target set up over there, and I'm going to put that hand grip right here on the front of that hand grip, and I'm going to paint the gun, make it look a little prettier, just for shits and giggles, because I think this thing is pretty cool for what it is. It doesn't have much power. It's set at like 200 feet per second, unlike these guns. These are paintball guns. They're set up at over 300, so those are a little better for impact tests, but I'm not going to use those. I'm going to use this. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, paintball defense rounds, that's these right here. They're 3D printed. They've got rifled fins on them. And this is what happens when I shot one against that metal. Pretty crazy. Oop, focus. See how it's flattened on the top? But anyway, what I do is print these in a variety of materials, including metal composites. And I'm going to do versus tests in a future video. I have one video about it. I just versus it versus one BB shot versus one shot of this. And this actually dented that galvanized steel over there, about a 1/4 inch deep, about a 3/8 circle. And that's what it did to the top of the round. It flattened it out. It transferred all its energy. So I've made other rounds where I call them subdural and hematomas. I put a 177 caliber lead pellet and a 22 actual bullet. I just drilled them and epoxied them in. So I could 3D print a cavity and just slide them in. But yeah, these are for self-defense purposes because it's not illegal to carry a paintball marker 68 caliber. I don't have one yet, but I've ordered a couple of them from China. I found some really good ones. 7-shot, semi-automatic. They're reasonably priced. 68 caliber, so they'll fit these. And I'm just going to do some versus tests on like some meat and some homemade ballistic gel. That should be very interesting and fun for me. I don't know about if anybody will watch it, but it'll be fun. And so then this is an old camera mount I made. Basically, clips anywhere. I have a video about it. I love this thing. So I could just clip this to like the rafters. It's got a lot of strength. This clamp is really strong. And then this clamps to your phone or your camera. Works great. This is adjustable. Put it at any angle. Really useful tool for making videos. And this is an antique fold up. These brass legs, I just think this thing's so cool. Some old photographer equipment. And it should fit right on my little mount that I built here on this phone case. And just screws right on. But yeah, this folds right up. Can fit almost in your pocket. It's really old, but I love brass stuff and metal stuff. I like to melt it too. So if you stay tuned, you watch my videos, you'll see I like to screw around with a lot of different contraptions. I'm now putting an hour a day into this. It's the maximum I can afford for my current situation. But as I progress and move forward with my life and my goals that I have now, which, I mean, I start a new job Monday. I'm going from changing oil into a new situation, a new career. I can't wait. I'm excited about that. First time in my life I've had direction. So we'll get an hour a day into all these projects. I'm selling all this. The fleet. The fleet's going away. I'm keeping the Motor Hispania RX50 liquid cooled. That goes 70. It's a moped. And I'm keeping this 250 Polaris. This thing goes 65. And it's got a almost 30 horsepower, 250 cc two-stroke. But the rest of it, no matter how attached I am to it, it's all going to make room for the projects. So anyway, I really appreciate anybody watching. If you like what you see, if you like to listen to me talk a lot, and even see me do like this Will It Run next, just stay tuned, subscribe, ring that bell like Scotty Kilmer would say, and then you'll get notified of all my new videos. And I appreciate you watching. You have an excellent day. Thank you.